Talk.
Bill Padley on TRE. Talk Radio Europe.
It's 12 minutes past 10. So now we're on to the subject of Princess Diana. Was she murdered by a British soldier? If you've been watching the news over the weekend, you'll see that Metropolitan Police are now assessing the credibility of a new claim, and their Scotland Yard is what they call scoping information, which includes an allegation that Diana and Dodi were murdered by a member of the British military. Let's talk now to a man who's been on the show before. He is an investigative writer, and since 2005 he's carried out extensive research into the events surrounding the death of Diana, written several books on it. He's a man who knows his stuff, and we welcome back to the show John Morgan. Thank you for joining us, John.
Hello, Bill. Yeah, thanks very much for having me on the show.
Well, look at this then. Here is a new allegation, and this is right up there with what you were talking about last time, John. What do you make of this?
Yeah, well, I think it's very interesting. I think one of the most interesting aspects is that the British authorities have known about this for 2 years. The letter from the mother-in-law of the SAS soldier was sent in September 2011, and it's only now in August 2013 that they're actually starting to look into it. So it sort of shows that they don't really take this sort of thing seriously.
It's quite complicated how this happened. So basically there was a court-martial of an SAS sniper called Danny Nightingale, and he's had a second court-martial now. He was convicted of illegally stashing a pistol and bullets in his bedroom, but the allegation was in this letter that you mentioned, which was from the parents-in-law of someone they're just calling Soldier N.
Yeah, that's right. And I think the allegation is that Soldier N told his wife that the SAS were involved in the assassination of Princess Diana, and that it's been covered up. And it's hard to believe that he'd be making this up. But the other factor is that it does fit with the overall picture of the evidence. Like, there's substantial evidence that shows MI6 involvement in the assassination, and it's well documented that, and this came out at the inquest as well, that MI6 do employ SAS soldiers on operations. And so, when you put it in the situation of the crash in 1997 in Paris, well, MI6, there's evidence of 3 senior MI6 officers moving into Paris in the last 2 weeks before the assassination took place, and and one of the aspects of it is that there was a group of motorcyclists that were seen by quite a few witnesses between the Place de la Concorde and the Elmer Tunnel where the crash occurred, and those motorcyclists were riding heavy machines, big motorbikes, and it's been shown, and it was shown at the inquest, that those motorcyclists were not paparazzi, because the paparazzi were all accounted for, and they were following, but they were a long way behind because they were on scooters and driving small cars. So the question is who was on those motorbikes, and it's quite possible that that MI6 would employ SAS personnel to ride in those motorbikes. So that's a possibility.
It's a possibility which, if ever proved to be true, of course, brings a massive deck of cards tumbling down, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, it is. It's very serious. This is a very serious allegation, and the fact that the authorities have left it there for 2 years. It's a bit like, I don't know, the Mishcon, the Lord Mishcon evidence that the police suppressed for 6 years. I mean, they just don't seriously investigate these things, and if they were serious, then this would have been dealt with from September 2011 when it was first put forward, and it hasn't been.
One has to ask oneself what possible motive there could be other than trying to tell the truth of this Soldier N. I mean, there's nothing to gain for him. We don't even know who he is.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't think so. I mean, the Daily Mail did publish an excerpt I think it's this morning in London, and it's an excerpt of the letter, and I mean the guy, he does sound like a threatening sort of person. I suppose a lot of SAS soldiers are, but anyway, he gave his wife a very hard time, and he was threatening her parents. But anyway, I mean, does this an allegation like that, you know, that the SAS were involved in the murder of Diana? I mean, does he dream that up out of thin air? I don't think so. You know.
No, I can't really see the point of why he would do that. And you obviously were one of the people who studied the Paget Report in great detail when it was published back in December 2006. You were shocked by the content of that. It had loads of inaccuracies, poorly drawn conclusions, and you viewed that book as a huge injustice to the memory of Princess Diana. That's why you really started to write about all of this stuff. I've noticed now that they're saying this is not a reinvestigation, and this new allegation will not come under Operation Paget. What's your thought of that?
Yeah, well, they're sort of saying that Operation Paget was correctly done. It ties in with the French investigation, which found the same, and then at the inquest they actually there was actually a different finding at the inquest, because they found unlawful killing by Henry Paul, the driver, and following vehicles. So that was quite a different finding to what Operation Paget found, which was Paget found that it was an accident caused by the driver who had alcohol. But I think they're just sort of trying to draw a line under Paget, saying, okay, we're not reinvestigating that because that was all done correctly. You know, even though it's clearly shown that it wasn't. You know, and they're just sort of saying, well, we're just going to investigate this little thing separately. You know, it's not a little thing. You know, and this is the issue. It's part of a huge volume of evidence, and you can't really separate one from the other. It's silly to separate an allegation of involvement of the SAS with all the other evidence. It's all part of the same investigation. So I really don't know how they can say that.
And from what you've seen, obviously, with your conclusions on that Paget report, as I say, you mentioned they were littered with inaccuracies and poorly drawn conclusions. Do you really think that the British public will ever hear what really this is all about, or do you think it's a bluster story which has got out and they'll now put the can on it and that'll be the end of it?
Yeah, well, I don't know if they will from the MPS, but I think that the truth will eventually come out. It won't come out while the Queen's still alive, but I think that, you know, even when Charles takes over, there's a possibility, but certainly when William will want to know what occurred, and he'll be pushing to have a proper investigation. Whether the police do that or someone else, I don't know, but it really has to be something independent, you know, if you're ever going to get to the bottom of it. But I'm certain that, the truth will come out, but it's just not going to be while the Queen's around.
Interesting stuff. Well, John, as always, thank you for taking the time to talk to us about this. We'll watch with interest, and let's hope that your health continues to improve. I know that you've not been well recently, but thank you for joining us at short notice to talk about this, John Morgan.
Yeah, thank you very much, Bill. Yeah, thanks for having me on.
All right, take care, John. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.